Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special combat-related data stream. The first in, I believe, many years. I am joined by mods Pigeon and Rhubarbs, and we have prepared an abundance of data to go over today. But yeah, welcome, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Not bad.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Sweet. So we have an absolute ton of data to go over. We can jump right in if you guys would like, or we can talk to chat and hang out for a little bit. But we've got a lot of interesting data, I would say, prepared that we're ready to share with you all.
I mean, personally, I'm happy to jump into data. I find it interesting.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, let's do it. So the way that this has been set up is there will be points where we will be asking you in the chat to try to guess certain things. And actually, we could possibly even start it here. We have the most and the least assigned Essence of Finality specials. Does anyone want to take a guess as to some of the more assigned EOFs? Statius Hammer, I'm seeing some Gothic Staff, I'm seeing some Death Guard, Dark Bow. Okay. We've got some good guesses in there. All right. I will let's reveal it. So we actually have in 5th place the Armortal Battle Staff. 4th, we've got the Saren God Bow, then the G Staff, the Dark Bow, and then the Death Guard is actually the most assigned EOF special. Any surprises for you guys there? To me, it kind of, yeah, pretty well checks.
I didn't expect SGB to be 4th, honestly, personally.
Yeah, that's a lot of SGBs that have been yeeted. I was pretty surprised to see the Armortal Battle Staff because I personally don't use it very much, but apparently a lot of people just like ABS blasting.
Yeah, I mean, I still have one. I made one on my Iron Man just before we changed it.
Oh no!
Like literally the weekend before. I'm hoping it's back.
Yeah,
I've just held out hope. So maybe other people are in the same boat.
Fair enough. So that's like a Cope EOF, and then you don't want to reassign it because there's an ABS in there. So that makes sense. As for the least assigned, this is more of a call out than anything. I doubt anyone will guess any of these. And this volume is actually a flat number. I don't know which individual or individuals have been putting keen blades, mind spikes, quick bows, and superior or a singular superior ancient mace into an EOF. But congratulations, there is only one of you. Yeah,
honestly, didn't know there was a special attack on the mind spike. To be honest.
So yeah, anyway, if anyone in chat knows this or these individuals, please let them know that yeah, they're in very unique company. Okay, let's get into some of the heavy hitters. So in the chat here, with regard to bosses, what do you think are the most popular combat styles? The most used for bosses in particular. I believe that's how that was set up. Mod Rhubarbs?
Yeah, it's any boss, basically what style the player was using at the time of the boss getting killed. So
okay. Seeing a lot of necro, and you would be correct. So this is over time as well, the way that this is set up. So you can see over the dates, and you'll actually see a pretty significant bump to magic along with yesterday's game update, which is interesting to see. So magic may in fact be so back, and range appears to be the least used combat style right now. Also, just a question in the chat. Can you guys see all the data well enough? Would you like us to make it a little bigger? Is the resolution good enough? Do you want me to zoom in more? Let me know. And I am more than happy to do it. Make it bigger? All right, we can do that. We've got another scene prepared that will make everything a little bit bigger. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, nice. And then, cool. There we go. Sure, that does the trick. Better for sure? Awesome. All right. We'll keep it moving. So let's look at some combat style proportions at specific bosses. If anyone wants to guess if it's the same as before or if it's a little bit different. So first boss we've got is Raksha. Anyone have any thoughts? Think it's still gonna be necromancy? Melee, it's still necromancy? And you would be correct until yesterday, when I think magic has actually just about taken over. But yeah, a pretty even split actually between necromancy, magic, and melee right now. And range, yeah, I'm surprised to see range so low because the fastest kills are with ranged usually. But range is also very hard to use, so probably checks.
I'm actually pretty surprised too. Like, ranged is always my comfy style at Raksha. Like, I learned doing it. Magic is probably a bit more consistent for me, but
yeah, no, in my head, Raksha's a range boss, so that's interesting to me. Also wanted to mention, all of this data was incredibly sourced and prepared by Mod Rhubarbs for today's stream, and it is just absolutely incredible how much interesting data we've got to go over. So just a massive thank you to Mod Rhubarbs for putting all of this together. We're going to take a look at Solak, where, yeah, necromancy and magic, it's actually almost exactly the same as Raksha.
Is melee holding out strong for Solak?
Yeah, actually, yeah, there's more melee at Solak than I would have guessed, actually, holding out there with magic. And then we've got, last but not least, we've got Zamorak and we've got Angel of Death.
I kind of wonder, just on the Solak stuff, I wonder if it's because people are hybriding and you finish final phase with melee, maybe?
Ooh,
I mean, that's
yeah,
what we
that is
used to do, but I
possible
don't
too.
know whether that's still the case.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure either, but yeah, this is figured out based on what does the final blow in the boss fight. So that actually does make sense. Yeah, let's take a look at Zammy. Zammy's an interesting one because I'm guessing it's gonna be magic, but maybe necromancy reigns supreme again in terms of style proportion used. Magic coming in second, and this is at any enrage as well, so it's not at a specific enrage point. Oh, and we are going to be right back in a quick second. We're seeing if we can improve the resolution of the data. Yep, all good. Okay, production has told me to continue, so we're gonna continue on for now, and yeah, let's fly through Angel of Death as the final boss with a combat style distribution for today. Whoa, that is not what I was expecting at all. I don't know if yeah, necromancy Angel of Death is definitely on top. More melee than I would have guessed as well. To me, Angel of Death and melee don't feel like they mix, but yeah, necromancy's definitely on top there.
Just super comfy, right? Like,
Yep, it's you got the ghost, you got everything you need. Someone is asking in the chat if they could see the distribution between Revolution and Full Manual, and you actually can. That is what is coming up next. Anyone want to harbor a guess in the chat what the distribution is, or Mod Pigeon potentially, who has not seen this data? If I put you on the spot here, if you wanted to harbor a guess,
Is this just Revolution and Full Manual, or is this including Legacy?
Legacy's in there too.
Ooh, all bosses. I'm gonna say 70% Revolution, 1% Legacy, and then the rest is Full Manual.
Okay, let's see it. And you are not giving enough credit to the Full Manual users, but pretty well spot on. It's about, I think it's 60 something percent, low 60s Revolution, and then somewhere in the 30s for Full Manual, and a tiny little sliver of Legacy mode in there.
yeah, 63% to be exact.
Yeah, and that's at every boss.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that also covers people that like functionally Full Manual, but they leave Revolution on because it's a bit more chill.
Yep.
I know a lot of people that do that myself.
Oh, and I have a new screen share link, so I'm just gonna set that up. And we should see everything in higher quality, which could be nice. Sweet. Am I muted right now? No, I'm not muted. Cool. I'm just pulling up the board. And then we should be good to go. Awesome. Click on that. Click on that. Click on that. Beautiful. Okay, we should be back. Fantastic. Okay, let's keep it moving. So now we've also got some combat mode distributions at different bosses, because obviously if you aggregate every boss, you're kind of encapsulating, you know, legacy bosses, lower level bosses, older bosses. But what would you expect it to be at a boss like hard mode Nicatra? Anyone want to guess? I'm going to put Mod Pigeon on the spot again because Mod Pigeon hasn't seen the data.
Ooh. You know what? There's a lot of movement, and I think Revolution is going to sort of struggle there because of the whole not continuing to attack while you move. I reckon it's going to be lower. I reckon you're probably seeing, what was it, 63% Revolution. You're probably seeing something like 50-50. And then Legacy. I mean, I'm sure there's one guy. I remember Sanctum Release. Somebody did a Legacy kill, I'm sure.
There's always one. Yeah, let's take a look. And you are correct. There is 1% use of Legacy mode at hard mode Nicatra, 63% manual, 36% Revolution. So it's actually a perfect flip from the previous one. I cannot believe someone's done this on Legacy. I'm going to need someone to send me a video if there is one. That's crazy. One Legacy Chad. And then I'll fly through some other ones as well, as we have a ton of data to cover today. Telos is pretty similar to hard mode Nicatra, actually. So we've got just under 40% Revolution, 60% manual, and a sliver of shout out to Legacy Telos, I suppose. And then Zamorak as well is actually very similar as well. So it seems like for the kind of higher level, more endgame bosses, I don't know who's doing Zamorak in Legacy mode, but they
I'd love to see it.
They are out here doing it in Legacy mode. Mod Rhubarbs, question for you on how this data was sourced. Is this from a specific period of time? Is it permanent? Is it since the bosses came out?
So this is just about the last 6 weeks data, just to kind of make it easy.
Perfect.
To run and just, yeah. So this
awesome.
Is current, up to date for the last 6 weeks.
Sweet. So it's like, it's current metas. Very interesting. This is a quick one that I wanted to run over to. It's just the tiers of weapons that are being used at bosses. One that I found pretty interesting taking a look at it. As you can see here, with the different combat styles, there's some interesting stuff in here to dig through. I think one that was pointed out is that for players to use range, there's a very high percentage of those players that are getting the Bow of the Last Guardian, and then that's when they're switching to range. Not nearly as much range before that point. Whereas with melee, you've got a pretty wide open distribution, and kind of the same with magic, where you've got a lot of players choosing to use magic with different tiers of weapons. And then necromancy, as one would probably expect, you get a lot of tier 90 and a lot of tier 95.
I wonder if this is... Sorry, go ahead.
Just a note on that. With the kind of weird tiers, like tier 88, it kind of encapsulates like 87, 88, so like superior zereals, annihilations, and everything like that. So I just kind of grouped those together because they were just...
Got it. So it's a bunch. Because I was going to say, I'm not sure. There are tier 82s. I would presume that the tier 84 for melee might be the Masuda's War Spear, which is tier 82, I believe. So that would all fit into that box. Okay. The next thing that we want to go into, the most and the least used abilities for each combat style. I think I'm going to have to put Mod Pigeon on the spot for this one again. Any takers?
Unfortunately, I actually helped Rhubarbs with this, so I sort of know. But maybe chat can guess.
Yeah, chat, get in there. So for melee abilities, what do you think the most used ability is? All right, in 5th, we've got Greater Fury. In 4th, we've got Assault. There's actually a threshold on here. In 3rd, we've got Slice. So everyone in chat that's saying Slice, unfortunately incorrect. Decimate in 2nd place. And the most used melee ability is Sever. That is surprising to me. but at a significantly higher rate than all of the other ones as well. That is the most used melee ability.
Kind of makes sense because it's a 5-second cooldown now, if I remember right. What I did in combat modernization, like my sole addition to it.
Yeah, it was just reducing
So
the
like
cooldown.
you chuck it probably at the beginning of Revo bars, and that's why a lot of them are being used, assuming this
So-
picks up Revo.
It's a good builder. All right,
And
and then yep.
Just a note on this. This doesn't pick up Revo. This is people manually casting them themselves.
Okay, so this is all manual usage. Perfect. Okay, that's actually very good to know. I'm actually gonna okay, I'm not gonna do that. That's okay. Okay, so for the least used manually cast abilities, anyone want to harbor a guess? I think there's an easy winner here. I'm seeing some frenzy. I'm seeing some balance strike. I'm seeing lesser smash. Barge. All right, let's see it. We've got kick, stomp, frenzy, massacre, and all the way at the bottom, we have balanced strike. Although it is worth noting, the amount of times balanced strike has been used was kind of shockingly high to me. I don't know if Mod Rhubarbs, you have the number on hand.
Yeah, so on average, it's used around 800. It's manually cast around 800 times a day, which is
How?
very questionable.
800 balance strikes a day are being manually fired off. Maybe it's used in player versus player or something. I don't know. Mega Duck, griefing. Yeah, you never know.
So
But,
we
yeah.
used to use it a little bit during PvP back in the day. I mean, a long time. I'm talking 15 years ago now, probably. I also used to use it for like Hellhounds before I got like Guthans or Soul Split, anything like that. Like back in the day when that was a little bit harder to get.
Okay, so I wonder if the new Masterwork, Masterwork mending effect is going to have an impact on balance strike usage. Maybe we'll see it go even lower.
You can only hope.
Okay, so top used magic abilities, including Surge, is probably fairly important and least used as well. I'll reveal them both at the same time if anyone wants to harbor a guess. In 6th place, we've got Wild Magic, Combust, and then we've got Rack, Greater Concentrated Blast, Dragon Breath, and Surge, a whopping 36.64%. And that's the percent volume of all magic abilities, correct?
Yeah, that's of all magic abilities. Obviously, Surge counts for every combat style, so.
And I
had to include
believe
the top 6, yeah.
I believe you have a number on how many times Surge was used in the past day. Is that correct?
Yeah, on average, Surge is used over 3 million times a day, so. Yeah.
And can we blame Cluers for that one?
100%.
3 million surges in a day is actually one person in chat has said that 2.8 million of them are just their farm runs. So that's fair enough. How many of them go into a wall or a tree? If they're mine, all of them. And for the least used magic abilities, I was actually very surprised by this. The least used magic ability to be manually cast in the game is Magma Tempest at 0.02%. Which is kind of surprising because it's a very powerful ability. It does extremely good damage. It does the same amount of damage as Wild Magic. So I'm out here just petitioning that people, if you got Magma Tempest, you gotta start casting it. But yeah, then we've got Shock, we've got Horror, we've got Metamorphosis, and then Greater Sonic Wave is I think now that G-Conk is usable with 2H and dual wield, that one kind of checks out and makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm seeing some people talk about so yeah, this is the Magma Tempest that is not targeted. This is the one that auto goes on your target.
That's the one that you just hit. Yeah. And it goes on your target. So is targeted higher more used?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
okay.
somewhere
So
in the middle. Yeah.
Got it. So targeted Magma Tempest, so the one that you use on an area is more used than the one that you just click. Got it. I think that makes sense. Okay, let's get into the top 5 most used ranged abilities. We've got Rapid Shot, Rapid Fire, Snapshot, Dazing Shot, Gricko in 2nd place, and then Piercing Shot is number 1. Kind of makes sense. Short cooldown, good ability, double hits now. Yeah, nothing terribly terribly shocking there. And thank you, chat, for letting me know that I'm actually too far over. And let's head over to the least used ranged abilities. Any guesses? I'm guessing, what is it? Salt the Wound? Salt the Wound's got to be on there. You know what? I should have known. I should have known it was Unload. So yeah, in 5th, we've got Tight Bindings, then Rout, and Demoralize, which those are the shock and horror abilities, right?
Yeah, the cave horror.
Right, Demoralize. Salt the Wound, and then Unload, unfortunately, is at the bottom of the list. So yeah, but that does mean a few people are unloading, which does this mean it's also possibly used more than Balance Strike? That's interesting.
It is used a lot more than Balance Strike, yes.
Really? Do you have a number on hand by any chance?
It is used around 1,200 times on average a day.
Manually
cast.
That is unbelievable to me, but the data speaks for itself. 1,200 people are unloading. What is Unload? It is a dual wield ranged ultimate ability that I believe does less damage than Rapid Fire, but it's an ultimate. So yeah, we've got 1,200 chads, and then for Necromancy, we could fly through this one. Kind of expected, especially with Necromancy having fewer abilities. But Soul Sap is actually used more than... Is that the Necromancy auto attack?
Yes, Soul Sap is used more than... Obviously, this isn't... A lot of people will have manual, automatic auto attacks on. So
yeah, that makes perfect sense, actually. So that's people manually who are just out here button mashing. Touch Death, Finger of Death, Volley of Souls. And then the least used Necromancy abilities, we've got Command Phantom Guardian in first place. We got Blood Siphon, Command Zombie, which I think people are sleeping on, to be honest. It's pretty good. And then we've got Living Death and then Soul Strike. Makes a certain amount of sense. Yeah, I think the most surprising one to me is that many people are using Balance Strike. But yeah, that is our first set of data, but we have a whole lot more to go through. Anyone interested in what the most blocked Slayer task is? If anyone wants to harbor a guess, we've got the top 15 here for you. Cows, Aqua Knights, Camel Warriors, Steel Dragons, Mammoths, Shapeshifters. All right, let's see it. Do you guys have any guesses?
I know the answer, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
It took me by surprise.
It is the Crystal Shapeshifters. And then we've got Cave Slime, Spiritual Warriors, Camel Warriors, Black Demons, Dino Island Frogs, Mutated Jinkos, Cave Bugs, Warp Terrorbirds, Terror Dogs, many others down there. I believe Crystal Shapeshifters are the highest weighted task at Laniakea, if I'm pronouncing that right. So it kind of makes sense that it would be a block task. And next up, we've actually got the most canceled Slayer tasks. So that's when a player receives a task and they choose to cancel it, replace it with something else, correct?
Yep, that's perfectly correct.
Alrighty. 46% of Zamorak's Phantoms, that's Armored Phantom tasks, are canceled. We've got the Nihils, Crystal Shapeshifters, Camel Warriors, TDs, Ice Strikes, Rune Dragons, Living Wyverns, Chaos Giants, and then Mammoths rounding out the top 10. All of these percentages to me are pretty high, to be honest. But people don't know about the Platypus tech, clearly. Because the Phantoms, the XP is unstoppable. And then, yeah, go ahead.
Sponge coming in clutch saying Dino Island Frogs are just frogs.
They're just regular frogs. Interesting. Okay, so for the most extended tasks, we can fly through these ones. The number one is actually Edemus, and then it's Abyssal Creatures, and then Menaphos tasks. Nature beings are creatures of the Lost Grove as well, if you're interested. Kind of makes sense. It's a lot of Iron Man kind of places where you'd want to get your Cinderbanes, better rates on tasks, so you do it that way. I was surprised to see how low dragons were, actually, because as like a PVM focused player, you'd always extend that dragon task. And then this is Slayer task successes. I don't know if Mod Rhubarbs, if you want to explain what that one is.
Yeah, so this is the success rate of when you get a task and you fully complete it. So obviously tasks that you haven't completed or you cancel, they don't count. But
Nice.
just actually going to do them.
All right, I'm gonna show that, and then I've got to perform a cat displacement. So I will be right back, and you guys can go over that one.
Yeah.
Yo, I just kind of want to see the cat.
Oh, here, I can show the cat. He's got my phone number on him though, so I've got to cover that up. But yeah, there's the cat. Yes, we do. And there you go. All right. We have lost the cat. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. On the Slayer side, we've got top Slayer killers. So these are these individuals? Yes, these are individuals with the most Slayer kills who are active.
Yeah. Obviously, a caveat to this is make sure you prestige your counter, because we don't track when we don't prestige them. So,
and interestingly here, I believe the top answer was actually capped out. Is that correct? So they've prestiged the maximum amount of times?
that is correct, yes.
Okay. And the winner is, there is a user who has killed 15,360,000 abyssal demons. How many years? Does someone want to do the math on how many years they've been at abyssal demons? Sometimes I log out on a task of 300. But yeah, we've got Devourers, we've got Glaciors, Ascensions. Terror Dogs, I'm surprised, are this high up on there. Someone's just, been taking out 7.9 million Terror Dogs. Still, someone said still no whip. Unfortunate. And then this one was top Slayer killers of active in the last 7 days. So this is kill volume for users and how many Slayer creature kills they have. So this is the top 5. So these are actually 5 players. And the player who's active with the most Slayer creature kills has killed 28,228,000 Slayer creatures if you aggregate all of them.
And they are not the player who hold the abyssal demons as well. They hold Glaciors, Pterodox, Shadow Creatures, and Blood Velves.
Oh, so they're a cluer. That's just a cluer, I think. I think a cluer has just got it. Interesting. Okay, next up, we've got the 25 most lethal NPCs in terms of daily average deaths. Anyone want to harbor a guess here? So I've left the number of deaths here. So this could be a boss monster. This could be whatever it may be. And then you see a very, very steep incline at the top here. Anyone want to harbor a guess? We've got AOD, Goblin, Vorkath, some Ripper Demons. Okay. I think for this one, we'll scroll from the bottom up here. Helwer takes out 159 players a day on average. Is that the correct interpretation? Yep.
That's perfect.
Volatile Scarabox, so that's in the Sanctum of Rebirth, are actually more lethal than Helwer. Seryu takes out 177. You gotta res the mage hit. Is that Queen Black Dragon?
That is. I'm guessing you're 186 of those kills, right?
Oh no. All right, well, moving on. I probably deserve that. Moving on from there, we've got Virago with 188. Vermix. We've got Araxi taking out 211 players a day. We've got Jad, but it's specifically the Jad in the Zuck Arena with 212. Osseous, 233. That feels a little high to me. Then we've got the Ripper Demons, Solak at 271, Telos at 274, Araxor at 322. We've got Zamorak, and then we've got Pezlam, and now we are into the top 10. And for that top 10, we have probably fairly expected Nicatra at number 1, Zamorak at number 2 by an absolute long shot. And then we've got Raziel, Archglacior, Carapac, Raksha, Angel of Death, Ambi, Vorkath at 9, and then Zuck in 10th place. Any surprises here? I'm surprised Zemregal and Vorkath isn't higher because I die at least 8 times an hour every time I go. So I'm definitely contributing to that. Although maybe I don't go often enough.
If you combine them though, they're reaching top 5, right? So.
Oh yeah, because there's Zemo and there's Vorkath separately. That's true. Yep. Very nice. Okay. Next up, we've got a very brief hardcore Iron Man boss kills, Enrage, and deaths section. So first off, wanted to go through some of the Enrage bosses. So these are individuals with the highest Enrage at the three Enrage bosses in the game. I don't know if anyone knows these players, but if you do, there are some absolute legends in here. So for Telos, there are 2 hardcore Iron Man players who are still alive that have reached 4,000% Enrage, which is quite impressive to me. And then I was actually very surprised that 5th place is just over 1,000%, and first place has 4K. People in chat are saying Couchy is one of them. Very cool. Huge congrats. And then for Glacior, kind of a similar story, although there are no hardcore irons that have achieved 4,000% Enrage Arch Glacior, which I was kind of surprised by. I thought there'd be one by this point, but that is one that is still up for grabs.
Was it if they were still alive now, or was it alive when they completed the Enrage?
Still alive now.
Yeah.
Just so they may have achieved it previously, but
yeah. So it's still alive now. And then next up, we've also got for Zamorak solo. This was crazy to me. We've got a couple hardcore irons that have gotten to 750 for some of the combat achievements, I would guess. 1 player with 1K, and then 2 players with 3.5 and 3.7K respectively. So 4K Zami solo, it looks like that'll be completed pretty soon. Some players are coming up on that one. That's pretty exciting. Okay. The top 5 bosses that have ended hardcore Iron Man lives. Anyone want to harbor a guess? And we can go 5 through 1. We can reveal them that way. Barrows, Queen Black. I feel a little targeted. Everyone's just spamming Queen Black Dragon. All right, let's see if you guys are right. Okay, Darok is in 5th place. In 4th place, Raziel, the first Necromancer. In 3rd place, we've got the Arch Glacior. In 2nd place, Carapac the Bound. And in 1st place, it is the King Black Dragon. World-renowned hardcore Iron Man killer, the KBD.
by miles as well.
Yep, by it's the hardest boss in the game for a reason. Moving away from bosses, though, the top 5 NPCs that are ending hardcore Iron Man lives. I'll reveal them all at a time. I'm not going to keep the suspense. White Wolf, Ice Warrior, Ripper Demon, Wolf, and the number 1 hardcore Iron Man killer is a King Scorpion. So that must be data from a very long time ago, I would presume. That's got to be data from the onset of hardcore Iron Man mode.
Can't remember the exact time frame, but it was quite a long time frame just to kind of get a variety as well. But yeah, the Falador mines are scary, I guess.
Just want to point out here that 4 of these 5 could have been prevented with a Ring of Life. Just putting that out there into the world. Ripper Demon, maybe not so much, though. Okay, couple more rapid-fire hardcore Iron Man stats, just because I thought it was pretty interesting to see the highest kill count at some of the more difficult bosses in the game. There is an absolute legend who has done 1,749 Solat kills on a hardcore, and they are still hunting for a Grimoire to this day, apparently. Which is, yeah, pretty interesting. I always find it shocking how steep the climb is here, where 5th is like 300 kills, and then in 1st, someone's got 3 or 4 times more. They've basically got more than everybody else combined. And then we've also got Hard Mode Zuck, where a hardcore Iron Man has survived for 289 kills. And in 5th place, we've got 68. Most hard mode kill count for Nicatra, 156, 166, 202, 222, And in first place, a player has 348 hard mode Nicatra kills on a hard Iron Man, which is pretty ridiculous to me. I would certainly not survive that. Apparently, a lot of these are couchy, by the way, which is very cool. And then last but not least, we've got the RSGuy in hard mode, where there's a hard Iron Man with 2,445 kill count. Okay, we've made it out of the hard Iron Man zone. Do we want to talk about some achievements? And some combat achievements, potentially. Also, how's everyone in chat doing? Has there been too much data? Is there the right amount? Do we want to keep going through? Do you guys have any questions? I'm happy to slow it down a little bit, take a bit of a break, or we could just keep it rolling if everyone's having fun. More data? We want more data? All right, more data it is. Let's do it then. We'll keep flying. All righty. So, what question from Rhubarbs here? What constitutes an active player? Is it someone who's logged in the last 7 days?
Yeah, I just went for the last 7 days to just kind of speed up time of queries and everything like that. But yeah, anyone who's logged in the last 7 days, what percentage of them?
Okay. Anyone want to guess what percentage of players have the Reaper crew? 5, I've got 1%, 4%, 31%, 55. Okay. I'm like waiting until somebody gets it. I think someone's got it. Someone's got it spot on here. 3.4% of active players have the Reaper crew. And then we've also got Final Boss, Insane Final Boss, and 0.09% of active players have achieved the Golden Reaper. I was kind of interested by this. I wonder if it's like group bosses or if it's just in general. Maybe people don't know that you get a 1% DPS increase if you get the Reaper crew. That might be it. Maybe there needs to be like a pop-up whenever you log in. It's like, did you know if you kill Virago one time, you get a permanent buff?
It's probably definitely group bosses, but also just the influx of like group Iron Man players currently. Probably not at the stage of.
Yeah, of course, because people are GIMing it and are not quite there yet. As for Zuck, so I believe this is which percentage of active, is it active players who've killed Zuck, or is it active players in general?
Active players in general.
Really? Okay, this is really interesting. So what percentage of active players own a kiln cape? The answer is 42%. That's pretty good. That's actually very good. That's yeah, that's a lot higher than I thought it would have been. As for Zuck Cape, 25%. Hard mode Zuck unlocked, 18%. And then the combined Zuck Cape, 8.9% of active players.
Interesting. Rhubarbs, I don't suppose you have the data on how many of those kiln owners only have the one and then went and did their Zuck Cape because of it? Like whether they own the kiln capes just to get the Zuck Cape kind of thing?
I don't have it to hand, but that's definitely something. Or the proportion of how many capes they do own, if it's 1, 2, or 3. That would be. And if it's just all necromancy capes or.
Makes sense. Next up, we've got Enrage thresholds reached at RSGuy, Telos, Group Zamorak, and Solo Zamorak. So how this is distributed is it's just percentages of which players fall into which Enrage brackets, and it's for any player that is engaged with the boss. Is that correct? So anyone that's killed RSGuy, it's what Enrage their max fits into?
That's correct. Awesome.
This is so cool to look at. So at RSGuy, the majority of RSGuy killers have between 100 and 499% max Enrage. It's also interesting to think that there are a similar amount of players between 1K and 2K as there are between 1 and 99%. Same thing with Telos. I was shocked at how steep the drop-off is between 100% and 500 and then 2K and then 4K, like just how tiny an amount of players it is that are falling into those different categories. Group Zamorak makes a certain amount of sense. And then solo Zamorak, yeah, there's quite a steep fall off, but it seems like for a lot of players, if you're between 2K and 4K, you've actually gone all the way to 4K. Yeah, nothing standing out to me here as shocking, but I think it's really interesting to see kind of where players are dropping off at different enrage points. It's like, is there a new mechanic introduced? Is it just the boss has too many life points? Is it that cores don't exist? Super interesting.
Yeah, I just want to confirm on this because I've seen a few questions about it. This is, again, the percentage of active players. So, like, if you look, like, there will be a certain percent that have only done 0% RSGuy core. There'll be a certain percent that have only done a normal mode. And there'll be a certain percent that have never touched the boss. So this is it with the highest enrage.
Where they fit, yeah, which makes sense. And then, yeah, so for Zamorak as an example, that doesn't mean that 90% of players have only killed it in normal mode. Is that correct? Oh, hello, welcome back.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of percentage that have never killed Zamorak at all.
Oh, just haven't killed Zamorak at all. Okay, so
yeah.
This isn't just based on people that have killed Zami, it's based on the whole active player base.
Yeah, that's correct.
Got it. Makes perfect sense. Cool. Okay. Now, let's take a look at some combat mastery achievements for the most completed achievements in different tiers. I don't know if anyone wants to harbor a guess at any of these. We'll start off with the most completed elite combat mastery achievements. And the most completed achievements are Prison Riot, which that's a raid speed, isn't it? I think it is. Oh, I have, yeah. It's a go-y one. Make way, I'm coming through. Oh, we're actually going to go to a holding screen just for a moment to sort out our technical difficulties, and then we'll keep moving through some of this data. Okay, and we are back. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I think so. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Let's keep it moving. So for the most completed master combat achievements, the most completed one is Hungry Reavers at Angel of Death. We've come so far 300 is 300% Araxor Enrage. Ultra Instinct is one of the Raksha ones, I believe. Excuse me, that's my seed, is Hard Mode Zuck. And then Cleaning Up the Shadows is also Raksha as the most completed master achievements. Into the most completed Grand Masters, we've got Beastmaster, Grandmaster, Speedkiller, which I'm kind of surprised with that one. It's like a 26-second Beastmaster kill is the most completed. Unorthodox Angel of Death, Perfect Karapak, Perfect Raksha, and then by far the most completed is Perfect Solak, which makes a certain amount of sense. Anything stand out for you guys on this one?
I mean, when we play tested Perfect Solak, like just both of the Solak achievements, it was very hard. I'm still so surprised that it's the most common. Like, I really didn't think it would be quite as well done as it is. So
Interesting. Definitely
kudos
better
to
than
players, I
unorthodox
suppose.
Solak, which is a whole different ballgame. But yeah, let's go into the least completed achievements every tier. So these are the achievements that the most players are currently stuck on or have not done yet. Does anyone want to harbor a guess which bosses are going to be involved in some of these ones for Elite, for Master, and for Grandmaster? I'm seeing a lot of Virago. I'm seeing a lot of raids. I'm seeing Zamorak solo. All right, let's take a look. And we have Trio Hard Mode Virago, Rock Magnet, which is Virago, Parkour, which is Virago, Fonts of All Knowledge, which is Telos, and Comeback Kid, which is Virago. So yeah, looking like Virago, not the most frequented or completed combat mastery tier boss. Although there are, I believe, something like 50 elite Virago achievements. So it is also the boss with the most. Now for masters, the least completed are, this makes perfect sense to me. I just recently finished my mastery and these were the two hardest ones. So makes perfect sense. We've got the Zami Master Speed Killer, Angel of Death Master Speed Killer. And then I'm pretty surprised to see all three Sanctum of Rebirth bosses in here as the least completed master achievements.
I'm sort of not, because there's a lot of movement involved with, well, at least Kezalam and Nicatra, and I think it's very easy to lose a lot of time and DPS to that. At least till you get like really, really good at maximizing
yeah, that makes a certain amount of sense. It's not as straightforward as some of the other ones. And then for the least completed Grandmasters, very much the same as Master, with Zamorak Grandmaster Speed Killer, AOD Grandmaster Speed Killer, and then we've got Solak Grandmaster Speed Killer, Telos Grandmaster Speed Killer, and then I was pretty surprised to see Archglacier in here, because that isn't one that you hear too many players saying is like super difficult or super like compared to a lot of the other ones. But yeah, that's your top 5. Okay. We have a couple more sections. Actually, we have one more big section to go through. If anyone is interested in the least and most popular rotations chosen at Virago, I have left Vitalis uncovered here as the least popular chosen rotation. Does anyone want to guess? Seeing Team Split, Scop, Sealing, The End. Okay, surely The End. Sealing's number 1. And it is actually Scopulus at number 1. So 1/4 of all Virago killers do so on Scopulus week, or choose the Scopulus rotation at Virago. And then for Mod Rhubarbs, is this just people with the elite combat achievements who've chosen? Or is this general kills?
This is players actively choosing their rotation that they want.
Got it. Makes sense. I think it's pretty like a fairly even distribution as well, because a lot of players, once they unlock the ability to pick the rotation, are going for those solo and those duo hard modes where they want to go through all of them in succession. So that makes sense. What about Araxord? This one surprised me actually quite a bit. I don't know if you know this one, Mod Pigeon, if you've seen this one, but if not, you're welcome to harbor a guess.
So my guess is 1-2.
Is the most chosen?
So as the most chosen, so Darkness Path blocked, but it might be 2-3, so Minion Path, because people like the easy rotation, but I can't imagine it.
I was shocked by this. It is, in fact, 50% almost of Rax killers block the Minion Path, so they block the fastest path, and they choose 2-3. So I was very, very surprised by that. I would have thought that 1-2 would have been like by far the most popular rotation. So path 3 would be blocked. But yeah, people are not engaging in Mirror Back Monday, clearly. Remember, it's every week. You can do it. Okay. Next up, if we want to look at the most killed and the most engaged with bosses. So I've left some of them out here. Would you be able to explain what this number means?
Yeah, so most killed is the boss that has died the most on average every day. Whereas the most engaged with is the amount of different players actively going to that boss every day. So it just means like bosses that you kill 10 of is like in the time that you kill one other different boss, with counting for like longer bosses, right? Because they're still engaged with, they just
Okay, so this is basically a faster boss kill will show up more on here because it's number of times it's killed per player per day.
and a lot of people are guessing like Glade Core and stuff like that, like the sit there AFK zero mechanic, just rinse it all day, like
And those players in the chat would be correct. So 61 kills per player per day. Does that mean across every player that logs in, Glacier dies 61 times per player?
That's the average kills that someone is getting that actually goes to that boss.
That goes to the boss. Okay. Interesting. So you've got Archglacior, Krill, Vindicta, Dagannoth Kings, Raziel up there. And then, just a lot of the lower tier bosses, which makes sense. And then if we're heading into the top 10 most engaged with bosses, so this time it's average killed per user per day. I'm seeing some higher tier bosses in there. And that's because is this based on time spent or just if they went there for any length of time, this counts?
If they went there for any length of time, but this is like, the most players are going to these top 10 bosses.
Got it. Wow, so Gate of Olympus actually 8th. We've got Vermix, and at the top we've got Archglacier at the top for both actually, and then Raziel, Krill, hard mode Archglacier making an appearance as well, and then we've got hard mode Vermix too. Interesting. Anyone want to harbor a guess what the most completed Reaper assignment is? I did not get this one right, for what it's worth. In third place, we've got Vindicta. Second place, we've got Raziel, which kind of surprising to me. And then in first place, once again, more than all of the other ones by a long shot, we've got the Archglacier.
Yeah.
So clearly,
once you were able to pick your Reaper task a lot more commonly, we saw like a lot more people pick Raziel and Araxor. So like actively players going to wanting to get those drops,
Okay, so that's actually shifting. Interesting. So this is a really interesting one. These are the top boss killers of players who are active in the last 7 days. So as an example, there is a player that has killed Nex 72,000 times. Is that correct?
Correct.
One individual player. So there's a player with 90,900 Araxi kills. Yes. 129,000 Angel of Death kills from one player. All right, and we're not even in the top 10. How many? I'm very curious. Some of these turning the time into like years spent on these specific bosses. Like some of them make sense to me. Like Hellware, it's like you can kind of low effort that boss. But Araxi this is an active commitment that a player has made for years and years, dedicated to the one boss. But let's go through the top. A player has 176,000 Raziel kills. Still boots off log as well, unfortunately. 194,000 Dagannoth Kings. That checks. 200,000 Greg. 211,000 Magister. I'm shocked.
I don't even want to think about how much this
I'm absolutely shocked.
At least it's a fast boss.
Think about how many keys to the crossing. That's
single-handedly propping up the price of Keys to the Crossing.
Every time you run into that player, they just hand you a Kopesh. In sixth place, we got Rise of the Six. 230,000 Rise of the Six kills is kind of unbelievable to me. That is a lot of hours spent in the tunnel. 233,000 Queen Black Dragon kills. Well, we know that one's not me. That one's an interesting one because back in the day, I believe the Queen Black Dragon was the boss that was the best for rolling on the rare drop table. So if you were actively hunting for something like a Hazelmere Signet Ring, I believe players figured out that that was like the best way to actively go for it. So that makes a certain amount of sense. Fourth, we've got RSGuy with 500,000 kills in normal mode. In third, we've got Krill. Thank you, Necromancy, for that one. Just about over 500,000 kills from one player. Kriara, very similar to Krill. I'm actually surprised that Kriara is higher than Krill. And then in first place, an individual has killed Vindicta 1 million times. And 8. Which is, yeah, that's a lot of Vindicta. At this point, surely a world-renowned Vindicta tank. Okay. Now we're going to go through some top boss killers in hard modes as well. And I'll do this one a little bit more quickly. I was very impressed by this one too, actually. So there's a player with 4,000 kill count at the Blackstone Dragon, 4,000 Veraclith, 4,012 Aslarn. The thing that's most impressive about this to me is that usually when you have incidents or you rage quit or whatever else, like for me, my kill counts are a little lopsided. They have just locked in and dialed in for 4,000 straight Elite Dungeon 2 runs without issue, which is very impressive to me. And I hope they get their barge sued. Next up, so these are the hard mode bosses worth noting. So there is a player that has killed 4,200 hard mode General Gardor, 4,590 Nicatra, 4,591 It's the same player, but it's a little, yeah, there have been some incidents, and that makes a certain amount of sense to me. But yeah, that would be the same player, I would presume, with all three. Yeah. 5,100 hard mode Zuck kills, which is that is a crazy amount of Zuck kills. Thinking like you're doing 4 runs an hour, maybe at most. So yeah, that's a good bit of Zuck. 8,700 hard mode Krill, 8,900 Virago kill count in hard mode. That's actually shocking to me. That is a big number. And then there's a player with 13,000 hard mode Zamorak. And hard mode just means anything with Enrage. Is that correct?
No, that'd be solo Zamorak.
Oh, that's solo Zamorak. Okay. 16,000 hard mode Kree. 18,000. Oh my. That's a staggering amount of Elite Dungeon 1. Half of the supply of Ancient Scales have come from one player. And is that in solo as well?
Yeah, that would be solo.
It's unbelievable. Yep, that'll do it. They must be 200 mil engineering. Might be one of the richest players in RuneScape at this point.
Not many fishy treats, though.
That's shocking. There is a player with 24,000 hard mode Vorkath kills. 24,647 Raksha. 30,000 hard mode Karapak kills. 30. There's one player stuck in free to play that does not know that there are actually other bosses they could be doing. At 33,725 giant mole kills. And in first place, there is a player that has done 34,807 hard mode RSGuy kills. That is, someone said 2 cores at most. Fair play. Okay, we've got a couple specific bosses to go through. I know, conscious of time, we're going to kind of fly through these ones if you guys are okay with that. So, top boss killers for hard mode. So these are individual players?
Individual players, every hard mode KC they have combined.
Okay, cool. So there is a player that has 45,630 total hard mode kills at bosses. And that's the top 5 there. Moving on down, we've got normal mode. I'm expecting a much higher number. Yep, that would do it. So there is a player that has killed just over 1 million normal mode bosses. That's an impressive like quick chat at wars. Just be like, oh yeah, no biggie, just killed 1 million bosses. And yeah, I would presume that would be the person from Vindicta. I would imagine.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep, that's them. Next up, we've got hard mode Nicatra. Wanted to show the top 5. So a lot of players in kind of a similar boat, 3,700 going up to 4,590. Normal mode Nicatra, I was actually surprised to see some players do this much normal mode, but I mean, compared to hard mode, it's not nearly as much. And then, last but not least, let's see who the driest individual is on getting their memory dowser. And that would be 7,951 kills as the highest. Okay. The last piece of data that we wanted to go over today, that's kind of a fun one, is the most popular and most owned, least popular and rarest boss pets in the game. Anyone have any guesses on the most popular boss pet overrides? So this is any active player, I presume, that's like used a boss pet?
Yeah, so they've actually overrided any familiar or pet, and they're using a boss pet as an override. So
okay, the most popular boss pets are Gladys from the Archglacior with 9% of all boss pets, Mizo from Raziel at 7.55%, and Carrie making a surprise entrance. I remember on Carapack release, I called Carrie ugly, and Mod Ramen was in my chat. And then I said, Carrie's an ugly pet, and he said, you're an ugly pet. So not a huge fan of Carrie personally, but yeah, we've got Carrie in third. We've got Krill, Vindicta, Nex, Raclette, Zamorak pet in at 9th, and then the King Black Dragon pet in at 10th. What about the most owned boss pets? I'm assuming Glacior would be pretty high up on here as well. We can reveal it in 3, 2, 1. And it's actually only in 4th. And so what does this percentage capture?
out of every boss pet, every boss pet unlocked, how many belong to that boss exactly?
Oh, okay. Got it. So of the total aggregation of all boss pets, it's which percent of them are each one's. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, a lot of people doing Mega Ducklings. I'm actually kind of surprised by that one. Pretty high up there. Okay. Now the question, what are the rarest boss pets in RuneScape? I actually haven't seen this one yet. I want to say Vitalis, but maybe that's old thinking. Let's take a look. In 10th place, we've got Reeves. Makes sense. 9th, we've got the Sarayu pet. In 8th, Baby Osseous. In 7th, we've got Bagra, also from the Rex Matriarchs. Interesting. In 6th, we've got Neffy from the Sanctum of Rebirth. To be fair, that is the second most recent boss to come out, so makes a certain amount of sense. In 5th, we've got Soli the Solak pet. In 4th, we've got Pavo from Rex Matriarchs. So if you want to get a really rare pet, just go to Rex Matriarchs, apparently. In 3rd place, we've got Little Zuck. Yeah, rare pet, pretty hard to get. In 2nd place, we've got Eddie, the Gate of Elidness pet. So is number 1 Vitalis? What do you guys think? Do you guys know?
I know, and I had to double check it because I was also.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming it's Vitalis.
It is not Vitalis. It's Vorky from Zamorak and Vorkath. Vitalis is not in the top 10. I've been jump scared by Vorkath.
Yeah, neither is Tuzzy.
Wowee. Okay. Yeah, maybe Vitalis is too easy to get. Maybe the drop rate needs to go up. Is a joke. Okay, next up, the least popular boss pet override. So is this people that have the pet that don't override it?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, so these are actually the ugliest pets.
Yeah.
Okay. So we definitively know now which pets are the least desirable of the whole group. All right, here we go. In 10th place, we've got Pavo. We've got Legio Primalis. I would assume there'll be a lot of Legio pets. Corby's a nice looking pet. I'm kind of surprised by that. Legio Sextilis. Bagra from Rex Matriarchs. Legio Secundalis. Legio Quintilis. Legio Quartilis. Legio Tertialis. And the Calphite Grublet. Wow. All right. Well, I don't know. Bring out your Calphite Grublet. Show it some love. This is not a ranking that you want to be on, and it is clearly at the top. So do you know if this is the flying one or the walking one, or is it either one or both?
Either one.
Oh no. So are they like aggregated? So it actually had more going for it. It's two different pets, and they're both the least used. Deeply unfortunate. Okay, I actually think we've made it through the entire aggregation of data that we had. I don't know if you wanted to take some live requests. I don't know, Mod Pigeon, if you wanted to talk about some combat achievement stuff or possibly some stuff with this week's update. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to go over there, but I'm happy to open up the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk a little bit about this week's update, and then maybe we can just open up some live questions, unless anyone else has anything else to share.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we got a bit of time to chat. Take some questions from chat. Also, Mod Pigeon, you may want to drop your camera ever so slightly.
Have I done it again?
You may have done it again, but there we go.
Sorry about that.
There it is.
Yeah, so this week we released Masterwork and Legendary weapon improvements. I think so far we've kind of hit 2 out of 3 on the head. So I think people are generally happy with where Masterwork weapons have landed. So if you aren't aware, they gained a 2% healing passive. That's basically because Masterwork weapons and their identity, Masterwork and its identity is based around sustain. So if you've seen before, Trim Masterwork exists, and that is focused around, getting into bossing, a nice sort of segue from tank armor into power armor, but still offering a bit of survivability. And Masterwork weapons kind of fill that same niche. As well as that, I've been seeing a ton of stuff, like people have been popping off with the Fractured Staff of Armadale, and the crit damage. It's nice and simple. We did play around with some slightly more complicated things, but in the end, it was just simple as good. Keep it nice and light. Actually, I forgot about Tectonic, as you do. Tectonic seems to be doing pretty well. 6% crit chance is, I think it was 6%. Is nothing to kind of cry about. It's pretty basic, but we're hoping to do something a bit more interesting for some future armor sets. A future armor set. Had to think there whether we had talked about it publicly.
Yeah, the Amasket. I think.
Yeah.
No one knows
exactly
what it is or what it's going to do, but it's coming.
Yeah, and then the elephant in the room is really the easy K. Absolutely, hands up, hasn't landed where I wanted it to. I'm making changes to it now. Generally, I like that it's pulled away from bleeds. I know a lot of people have kind of, talked about they like the old special attack for what it offers. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later, but I like the identity of Easy K as this kind of, single target, inspired from the Zuck fight. You mark this person, you deal more to them, you take less. It's very thematic. But yeah, the kind of numbers didn't really match up, right? So what we've really done is we've taken the 5% damage boost, 5% damage reduction, and nailed it up to 12% each way. I know that by itself, I think Harper's mentioned maybe that's not quite enough, but we've upped the damage on subsequent casts. So I can't remember what it was originally. I think it was 400% around about the AGS. So against your flamebound rival, instead of it dealing 400% average, it's actually now back up around 800 and something percent, 900%. It's quite a big increase. Basically, we looked at the old EZK, which I think it dealt 1400% weapon damage on average, but because it's a bleed, it doesn't get the benefit of prayers, overload, that kind of stuff,
yeah.
which brings it down a bit. So yeah, this basically brings it up to match it in damage, and that is across 4 total hits. So you'll pretty much avoid the hit cap. You won't just be hitting at 30k. And we've lowered the adren cost from 65% down to 50%. And you're also going to refund 15% against your Flamebound rival. So it will be 50% down to 45 with a Ring of Vigor, and then back down to 30% delta if you're doing it against your rival. The cooldown is staying at 60 seconds, basically, so you've really got to invest against those longer boss fights. So anything over a minute. It sounds crazy to me there that saying a minute long
It's a
boss
long
fight is
boss
long.
fight.
But yes, we are making changes. We're still listening, but we're hoping to get this out next Monday.
Thank you so much for the rundown there. So you said Flamebound Rival 12% and 12% instead of 5 and 5, and then in addition, the first cast of the special will cost 50% adren and do the same thing it does right now in terms of making rival, but then on subsequent casts after that 1 minute cooldown, it will cost 45% adren with a 15% refund, and it will deal something like 900% damage over 4 hits. Is that correct? Cool. Got it.
Yes, that
just
sounds
to make
correct.
sure that it's all all in one place. Wowee.
Well, I mentioned Pulverize. That has been hotfixed, so Pulverize will not work as expected. I know there's a Reddit post from someone or other. I can't remember their username. But yeah, that has been fixed.
Is there any like funny story as to how that happened, or is it just like a number of the wrong spot?
I just ungoofed.
Fair enough.
Basically, if you've noticed, Pulverize has a different tooltip. So instead of it previously, it basically just said your target deals 25%. I revamped the tooltip and how it was applied, so that we can do a bit more interesting things with it in the future if we so desire. Same thing happened with Sever into Severed, and I basically, when I reworked it slightly, I done goofed.
Makes sense. Fair enough. I wasn't sure. Sometimes the stories are like crazy. Like I remember like
I seem to have lost audio.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Maybe I'm back.
Lost mod Pigeon. Oh, we might be back. Here's a question from chat, if you can hear me. Was Enfeeble also making you do less damage to your target?
So, it wasn't. The release note might have been slightly wrong. That's my bad. I did glance at it while I was doing some EZK changes. It was only an NPC versus NPC, which, to my knowledge, no NPC can cast Enfeeble against another NPC. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it shouldn't have ever affected anything. It was working as
just
intended
Pulverized,
for player versus NPC.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have a scapegoat for like every like Zamorak one cycle I failed or something.
You can blame it if you want, but no.
Okay, perfect. Good to know. Good to know. Also, yeah, for people in chat, if anyone wants me to navigate to anything, I'm happy to kind of float around while we're talking. Someone's asked to see the daily player death list. Absolutely, I would love to find that. Let's see here.
Someone asked about EZK multi-hit being able to crit / refund adrenaline with Meteor. It's not a bleed, it is just 4 hits functionally. So yes, it will be able to crit and refund adrenaline. Me and Sponge were playing around with it earlier, and it was very fun hitting some large numbers.
Oh, some large numbers. Were they specific large numbers or just general? Gonna leave the intrigue until it comes out.
Well, we almost killed a dummy, which I guess isn't that impressive nowadays, but like,
I mean,
it is to me.
I mean, if the goal is to make the thing a little more powerful, yeah, that would do it.
G Fury creating all 4 splat. If I remember right, Chaos Roar is every hit, but I think G Fury, I can't remember the wording on it, but I've got a feeling G Fury is your next hit, not all of the attack. If it works on both hits of Hurricane, it should work on both hits of this.
Got it. Yeah, that should be super interesting. But yeah, I believe it does not count as a channeled, so it's just a send. So sorry, I'm trying to go to all the places people in chat are asking about. Mod Rhubarbs, what are you up to?
I just added the least popular boss guild. So
Legend. All right, let's go over there. Whereabouts on the
top
board?
left, just under the most engaged and most killed
Oh,
bosses.
fantastic. Look at this. On the fly, we've got real-time live data requests from Mod Rhubarbs. Okay, the least popular bosses. Ooh, Elite Dungeon 1. Even with the one person that's been grinding it for a decade, it's still the least killed. So does that mean players that are going are killing it twice? Or does that mean that
Players who are going are killing it twice.
okay, so it's not necessarily the least popular in terms of like it's a longer boss fight. So
Yeah,
the kill
that
count
is
is
the
going up
least
slowly.
killed.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it. And then over here on engaged, what does this look like? With average killed per user per day. Okay, so this is players who are choosing
the least
to
amount of players. Yeah.
the least amount of players.
Yeah.
Okay, so the fewest players are choosing to kill challenge mode Hellware.
Yes, that's correct.
In the game. Yeah, that checks. That makes sense to me. I'm surprised to see Sarayu so far down the list, actually. I'm pretty surprised. Mod Pigeon, you're being asked what project you're working on next, if you're allowed to say.
I am doing some things for Mascot. Then I don't know, truth be told. There's some things I want to do on the side.
We will
But
see.
we will see.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot. It's like, what can I say? What can I not say? So it's kind of relating to earlier, but when Mod Pigeon joined the call, there's currently a whiteboard behind his chair because the wall was decorated with stuff that is apparently like a secret. So that was almost a disaster today.
Someone did mention about a data stream for clues. I don't want to, sign Mod Rhubarbs up for anything, but both me and him have talked about like, obviously I'm not much of a cluer, but data streams in general. And if there's a lot of love for them, maybe we'll do more.
Yeah,
I say we, not me, because I can't pull all this data. He does all the work.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely let us know, pass feedback along if you enjoyed the stream, if you enjoyed the format, if you enjoyed the data itself. I know the last data stream was like 5 years ago, so it should be hopefully a little easier to surely we can beat that clip. But no, please pass feedback along on this kind of stream and this kind of format. If the data is interesting, if it's useful, if it's fun to go through, absolutely let us know and we can see what we can do. Perfect. Okay. If anyone has any last second questions, we might be able to hit a couple more last second, possibly a data request or two, depending on what's being asked about. And then I think we're going to be wrapping up for this, I'll say, inaugural data stream with mods, Pigeon, and Rhubarbs. Ryan, what was your half marathon time? Not good enough to share on a live stream. I'll tell you that. Ask me next year, and then we'll be right there.
I will disclaim slightly about the EZK because I can already feel that PVME are talking about it behind my back. Those numbers aren't totally final. We're fairly certain, but obviously we're gonna look at them a bit more and probably fine tune them.
Yeah, there's still balancing pending. Lots of stuff pending. Someone's asking to see the first page with style proportion of kills at different bosses. Here you go. This is the general for every boss. You can see Magic getting an uptick yesterday. We've got Magic getting another uptick yesterday. That's at Raksha. This is at Solak. There is Zamorak. There is the Prophet Pigeon. And then we've got Revolution versus Manual in general, and then add some more endgame kind of catered bosses. And someone who's doing hard mode Nicatra and Zamorak in legacy mode, which is just absolutely something else. Yep. Also worth noting, there is a channel in the RuneScape Discord. If anyone has any further questions after the stream ends, any other thoughts on this format or any feedback for us, feel free to let your feedback be known there, and it will end up going to the right people. So that is always a great thing to do, and it just helps us know that we're sharing the kind of stuff that you're interested in and that you guys are enjoying these streams. With that said, though, I think it's time to wrap up for today. I don't know if you have any final thoughts or anything that you guys wanted to say. Pigeon, Rhubarbs, anything, or should we wrap?
No, we can wrap. Just in general, like if there's more appetite for data, for clue data, for skilling pet data, then yeah, just shout and I'll eventually get around to it.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We are going to be raiding over to Crystal for today's stream. And outside of that, expect this VOD to be posted on YouTube as well. So if you missed the stream, don't worry. It will end up materializing there within, I would suspect, the next few days. Okay, with that said, thank you all so much for tuning in. It's very much appreciated, and we'll catch you next time.